still descending there, though.
I looked away from HLBZ. It came down and touched that pivot again.
It hammered into it, didn't it?
It did.
Big hammer. Lots of volume.
Uh-huh. That could get interesting. I might just hang on to some of that. What the heck was that? Oh, yeah.
Still flushing on you.
See, there we go.
Just went
We're
right.
live on YouTube. Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube. See if it gives you a double bottom here.
Watching a couple pennies, and this HLBZ might just STB here, so.
Yep. Got a little line drawn to see if it does. Something to draw, something to watch. ARDX.
The NMTC, I'm expecting to push back to about $1.58, maybe on an extension. I don't know if I'd put anything into that, though. Just maybe a couple shares, scalp a penny or two. Nice hammer on HLBZ right at that pivot. Oh, that'd be
If
so
it closes the hammer.
Yeah, it'd be so cool to catch a Morning Star right there.
Mm-hmm.
Give you another chance at a 22-cent entry. All right, close the hammer. Let's see what this bar does. Classic. And then another one I'm going to look at in a moment here is, just to give you guys a heads up, KAL, Kilo Alpha Lima. It's a, well, briefly this morning it was a sub-dime stock. No, it wasn't. 11 cents. This one's only got a 74 million share float, which is a free market float cap of about 8.6 million. It's not going to take much volume to move this thing. So far, the volume this morning is at 21 million, mostly selling. Average volume's only, well, 10 million shares, so it's doubled its volume. Let's pull that up real quick. I love scalping these because, man, a penny move is almost 10%.
Yep. COSM broke out of its descending channel. It's coming to test an area of resistance right now on a 1-minute chart.
Is that on the rise? All right, looks like our Morningstar failed on HLBZ, but
yeah,
give it a couple more candles. It might wake up. It did almost get to the top of that control bar. Yeah, about the top 2/3 of it.
all that indecision on the MES, all those wicks, that to me normally, now Ricardo made money off of it, but normally that is his time. Yeah, that's because he's learning the Jeremy. That is indecision. That's no trade for me.
Sorry, I had to clear my throat really bad. Still a little coffee this morning, so.
Yep, going to get coffee right now. Speaking of coffee.
All right, HLBZ, that might be done. KAL, I'm going to watch for a tap off this 11.6 cent pivot here. And it's just based on Friday's control bar. Or, sorry, Wednesday's control bar. And essentially we look for range. Like I said, if these things are trading at around a dime, a 1 cent move is about a 10% return. So when these things bounce around, you can take a position on that and grab a really quick 10% scalp. All right, HLBZ failing. Just set up another descending channel on top of the existing descending channel. Man, my throat is scratchy this morning. And let's see here. There's another pivot zone from the market opening on that one too. So that one just smoked and might get a bounce here down at 21 cents.
All right, COSM into that area of resistance. It is, we've got one big, looks like, what do you call it? Ruse-a-bee or whatever, where it's no wick on the candle whatsoever. Well, now we got a bearish engulfing. Never mind. It's right into that area of resistance.
Ah, yes.
I should put it up in chat. Forgive me all. Sometimes I forget to do that.
That's all good. I got it on the screen here.
Okay, good. Yeah, you see all the wicks to the left? Is this
Yeah.
COSM? Yeah. All those wicks to the left, that's the area that those two candles, the green one and that bearish engulfing, have slammed into. That's where they slammed into that area of resistance.
It's that
Where all those wicks are.
40-cent pivot. Yeah. It had a lot of trouble getting through that when it first broke out. So when it finally did, it ran pretty nice.
Yeah. So there it is on that one.
I'm going to keep an
Okay,
eye on
let's
this
see.
KAL too.
Squeezer bottom on that MES coming in toward the end of that descending channel.
Oops.
Lower lows though. Where are you guys coming to? Oh, there you are right there. I see where you are, MES. MES. MES is at an in-between. Those little in-betweens that are sticking out. All these things mean so much.
Yeah, I'm just watching this little slow, grindy channel that's happening here on the on SPY.
That's what I'm watching. I'm watching it on MES though. Why don't I have my SPY chart up?
It's just sitting right in that key spot. And like I said about these rounding tops, and I'll say it again and again and again, they look bearish until they pop out of nowhere. And heck, there's one kind of you can see here on a shorter term.
Yeah.
Came through, hit key support, and bounced really hard. So sometimes you'll get a measured move out of these, sometimes you won't. Just kind of keep an eye on them. If it does get bearish, though, this is the line to do it right here. All right, HLBZ hopping off of that 21-cent push. See if it gives us one more look. And then we got KAL.
Yeah.
Kal-El, yeah. Just looking for a dead cat bounce on this thing. It's a grinding penny stock. But, like I said, it's got enough of a small float to where it doesn't take much to move it.
All right. Hammered into the 200 on the MES.
Give us a morning star.
Thick looking chart, I can tell you that. It's got jaundice. You know, I remember my little colored indicators when they start looking jaundice. I got lots of yellows. I'm like, that's sick.
Nice.
It means I'm just watching for the next hour and a half.
Could get a little morning star out of this KAL.
Look at that, you know. That's right on that 200. Okay, now, little Morningstar look. Building
All right.
off the 200 on the
HLBZ.
MES.
Popping off that 21. Let's see if it gets loose here or not. Eventually, that thing's got to be a quick rebound. And if it fails, we know where the critical support zone is. Just look left. Well, first we look at the 1 minute 200 period where it's bouncing right now. But the critical control down here is at 20 cents. If it fails 20 cents, we know to stay the hell away. Make that one red.
Still can't break that 40.36.
COSM trying another shot at 40 cents. If it can't break that, look out.
Look out now. Let's see what you're going to do, Mr. Spy.
And KAL kind of floating around that area. Let's see if it does anything.
Hammer or the spinner on the 5-minute chart on SPY has the smallest range of all those previous wicks. COSM coming back to that level. Let's go look and see where that's from. Oh yeah, look at that right there. Huh. No wonder it's coming back to that level. That's VWAP from
Oh yeah.
COSM. That is VWAP. That level that it's hitting right now. That is from the pre-market.
Let's see if it gets through 40 cents. If we print a nice bar, it can go probably to about 43.
Yeah, it's an inverted hammer. We'll see. Yo, Wiki.
HLB6. Kinda got to break that 8 period here, or it's going to STB if it doesn't. And KAL, gosh, man, I don't want to see that be a dud, but it might be.
ARDX is continuing to flag up, to trend upwards in a bull trend.
Is that thing still moving?
Yeah, it's been moving since I said what? It's moved 10 cents since I called it out earlier. It's slow grind.
Yeah, as long as it's still trending. The ARDX?
Yeah. ARDX.
There's a historical gap if it gets loose above $2.20. That gap's pretty damn big, y'all.
It's big.
That's a massive gap. Historically, it's never... Well, it did once. This gap down here on the weekly chart, it did almost retrace that whole thing. This one, it went to about the 50% level. Heck, if this one goes to the 50% level, we're, 480. That's a pretty damn good run. Well, let's stick pivots on it and see what we get. Let's go with 450, not 480.
Excuse me. Yeah, you look like you're going to come back down some more, COSM. Maybe. That is an inverted hammer.
I wonder if, is ARDX optionable?
There it goes. There it goes. COSM breaking down.
Is it?
Is ARDX optionable?
Let me have a look.
Where's my phone? There it is. Got me relying on my phone. Jeremy. Dang you, Jeremy. I
yeah,
appreciate you.
and it's got weeklies. How about volume? Let's see what the volume looks like. It's good enough for a wheel trade, sort of.
Are you kidding me?
It's doable. It's not ideal, but it's doable.
Got big spread.
Yeah, the bid ask is pretty wide on that.
Whoo, 15 cents.
Okay, so there is a caveat.
That means no, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably let that one go.
All right, MES. Breaking out. Let's see what you're going to do. If you're going to, well, hey, you still got a long time on this candle. Never mind.
Yeah. Rounding top, man, I'm telling you, they love to do this. They look bearish until they just pop.
Yeah. We're back at resistance on the MES. That's angular resistance, I believe.
See, ARDX might make a run for the 1 minute 200 period around $1.80, $1.81.
Like I said, we were at a descending channel on the 5 minute and on the 1 minute there. And if you look at the 5 minute now on SPY and the MES, it's looking pretty, well, we still got time. Oh, boom. Now it's looking pretty bullish.
You could probably sell a December 2nd, next Friday expiration, $2 put on ARDX. The bid is 15 cents. The ask is 40 cents. I bet it would fill at 25 cents right now.
In the mid?
Right in the mid. Well, a little bit below the mid. Mark is 27 cents. But this only trades in 5-cent intervals because it doesn't have the volume to be able to sell options at the the 1 penny contract spread. So the only problem with that though is when you go to buy it back, you've got to buy it back in nickels too. So it's like not ideal for a wheel trade, but you could still scalp around with it, lower your cost basis, and generate some income on it. And if you get assigned, your cost basis is $1.75 at that rate. So you're 5 cents better than the 10 cents better than the current price.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like that, you can always move out to the 8th.
Ooh, it says no. Let's see.
No, the 8th isn't good. What in the world? The hell you mean go buy market data? I have market data. There we go. Robinhood asked me to buy market data. I'm like, what the hell is this? All right.
HALBZ is just walking along a pivot line right now at 2089. It just broke it. It did.
Yeah, it might STB on us.
Or that could be a double bottom.
Keep an eye on it, though. That thing's got potential to make some big moves.
Howdy, MES, what you doing over here? You want to break that channel?
Oh, that evening star. This is a Busby, actually. Watch for a run right up. This is a candle for candle trade right here. Watch for a run back up to about 402.61. Might go to 402.64, and then it'll pop down. That's the Busby. Candle for candle Busby right there. Prime example.
Of inverted Busby or the bullish Busby?
Regular Busby. When you got accumulation sideways like this and you start seeing this evening star setup, you trade the third bar, and essentially you're just trading the range within the third bar. You don't want to be right at the top of the sucker because usually this bar here that's forming will be a wick by the time it closes. Boom, nailed 402.64. So if you're trading the MES, that's like very quick little,
1.75 scalp, if that.
Yeah, if that. It'll pay for commission and then a little profit, but that's it.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
But when
I
these
see
are
what you're saying.
when these are bigger though, when they give you that 30-cent run on SPY, that's a 3-pointer. And when you bag 3-pointers over and over and over again on the MES, man, they add up.
Do that 100 times in one day. It's a lot of trading, but as long as you're not losing it.
Exactly. And that's how you take a small account and make it a big account.
Yep. That's
little
what
at
I
a
want to do. That thing at the beginning of the year. I think we ought to do it. That little challenge with $150 in a paper trade account. Folks who want to learn that price action.
I am totally down for that. Let's do it.
I'll put it down in writing. We'll bounce it off of you.
All right. Now, oftentimes when you get these Busbys, you get two scenarios. If it does break resistance of this bar, it'll continue bullish to the next pivot. Well, the next pivot's right here at 402.75. Just barely eking out of that, it might do it. The other thing they'll do is they'll wick really badly right up to the peak of the evening star here. So watch for 402.72. And when they close an inverted hammer there, oftentimes they'll rip right back down the level of support on the first bar. So then you'll be looking at about 402.48. That's a 2-pointer if you're quick enough in the MES.
Right.
But it's got to look bearish on that 10-second chart. And I don't think it's going to look bearish on that 10-second chart. Let's see what the 5-second chart looks like. Ah, maybe. Yeah. It's gonna do it.
All right, so this is the last 15 seconds on this 5-minute candle and all the 1-minute candle as well. Oh, look out.
Love price action, man.
Oh, is it going to be that dragonfly doji looking thing on the 5? If so, I had no trade zone.
Yeah, there's a dragonfly.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going up.
Nope.
A lot of times I see those, it comes right, you get a red bar right through that whole body.
There's your pin bar in a 1 minute. There's a doji. This is the candle you trade, and if you're bearish here, your target's going to be the control bar. So you're literally going to run right to the bottom of that sucker.
$40.36. No.
402.48. Or yeah, whatever. I haven't looked at the
That's
MES.
fine.
But
Yeah, that's fine.
And this is the other reason why I keep an 8 period on there, because I don't confirm this as continuing until you get a candle that closes below the 8 period. That red hammer is a little ominous. This can actually still break out bullish.
Mm-hmm. It's ominous, and it wicked back into that 40.36 on the.
So if
it's
you're
above the green, above the 8.
If you're short on this doji here, this is where it gives you one last chance to get the hell out of the way.
Oh, it's looking healthier though. It's not looking so jaundiced anymore.
Yeah.
And we have a trending signal. Let's get you.
There it goes, breaking over.
There
Cool.
it goes. There it is.
I was watching that on a 5-second chart.
Yeah. See what? Still fighting with the 40.36 over here though.
It's still got to bar that 8 period. Dojis and hammers on top of the 8 period, not a good sign for bears.
Oh, it took my eyes off of COSM.
Did it break out?
Came back up. It's bad. It's fighting. It's at 41.35 right now.
Oh, it broke the 40. It'll go.
It came down to 36.26, which was that pivot, and it bounced off of it. Bounced through another couple of pivots. Looks like a little double bottom there. And it broke R1 a while back, a few minutes ago, about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes ago.
Well, okay, there was your shot. That was it. Now we come up bullish. Look for that push to 402.75.
Yeah, they have 402.76 as the market maker high on the SIGS indicator.
Nice. Love that thing, dude. I love being able to think like that thing without thinking like that thing.
I do. I love that you think like that thing without thinking like that thing. That's a thing. Oh, yes.
Oh, HLBZ, finally. Giving us a little action. It did hold the red zone. It did hold that 20-cent pivot. So now we're just barely cranking back up.
Yeah, it did a U-turn on a pivot around where it is now, the 2089.
All right,
Wicked into the 200 on COSM.
SPY might give the bears one more chance here. And here comes KAL off of that bottom. Got to break that key area at 11:30, 11.3.
Sideways motion. That is some sideways motion.
It's expected to be slow and grindy today.
Yeah, because they're going to close in a few hours.
Yep.
2 hours.
Yes, sir.
But I still like to watch it. I still like to come and see what it's going to do. I'm not trading any right now. I'm really glad to hear some folks have taken profit. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Oh, HLBZ.
There we go. Now we're cooking. Gonna touch for
this candle does.
Reach for 22 cents again.
Back into the zone it was earlier. That it was holding. I said did I say that was previous ZWAP? ZWAP.
ZWAP.
ZWAP. I haven't had anything to drink with coffee. I promise.
There you go. No Baileys today.
No Baileys. No gummies. Nothing.
Let's see here.
I'm waiting for my glucosamine to come in, so my knees won't hurt as much. Amazing what a simple little over-the-counter vitamin supplement can do. I'm so ticked off at doctors for not telling us about that stuff. Then you tell them about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and it's like, Why didn't you tell me about it? Why do I have to tell you about it?
I, I I made my doctor read a research paper on boron supplement. She
I'll
actually
tell you
read
that.
it.
I just ordered my new. A matter of fact, that's coming in with my glucosamine
Yeah.
because I ain't gonna run out of that.
No, it
I'm,
makes all the other supplements you take much more efficient.
well, I tell you what, I was really blown away by it, and because I have a supplement with it in it.
Hmm.
It's called Move Free. You get it from frickin' Costco.
Oh yeah.
Geez, almost everything I have is from Costco,
Yeah, yeah.
and it has 5 milligrams of it in it,
Okay. So it's
and
got half a daily dose
and
in it already, roughly.
yeah, and so I take that, just that little bit amount has changed. You were right. I'm like, yeah, I do feel more attentive and alert. All right, so that
There we go. Now we're
re-
breaking. Still
red
hitting
spinner,
the
yeah,
control bar right here.
it hit
Look at-
that area, didn't it? Didn't it hit that? What number did it hit? Let's see.
Well, I had drawn a control zone at 402.48, which is just the base of this candle here.
Yeah,
And
you had us at
it wicked.
402.75,
Yeah, for the
and
top.
yeah, but it wicked in the 70. That's all
Yeah.
right. It's a crayon, not a fine point marker.
Nope. In penny or two, not a big deal. And that's a
No,
nice Tootsie Roll. This is going to
yeah,
continue.
not on this.
Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Touch the 402.48.
Back, it's wrestling with VWAP right now.
Yeah, once I get all the trade station stuff sorted out, man, it's going to be on. And I'll get
Okay,
that challenge
boy, look,
account going.
I really, that's going to be a good thing. We just have to make sure it's not. I want to do it where it's simple for folks, but yet it it just it's good peer pressure. We're going to do it together. Okay, COSM, you son of a SM.
Positive
I
peer
took my
pressure.
eyes off of it. Look at that thing. Yeah, positive peer pressure is good. It's a group effort. It's a community builder too. And then everybody's going to be talking about what they did and how it's going. And and the goals aren't going to be outlandish because the futures move so crazy. You know, I mean, Ricardo's already got everybody beat, but still,
That's good.
uh, that's good. We just want to add a little each week, and we'll set a goal,
Hey, man.
and then we'll do it for about 6 weeks, and we'll look for specific targets. That's going to be the thing. We're going to be looking for specific strategies in that.
Guys, I'm just gonna put a trade on COSM just to practice my getting in and out setup on Tastyworks because I've got the safety off. I just want to see if it works. So if I lose a couple of pennies, don't hold it against me. That's my reason for getting in.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what you're doing this for. Do it.
Bam. I'm going to grab some KAL.
Oh, look at that morning star.
Heck yeah. Boom.
Holy cow.
Here we go.
It blew through that. That is a strong breakout.
I love trading the range on these
Wait
days.
a minute.
When I'm trading the
It's
MES,
still got 2 minutes. Yeah.
that is the glory right there. This is a choppy piece of garbage to try and trade options on, right? But if you scalp an
It is.
MES, dude, there's your 3-pointer. Bam. Done.
Yeah, that was a 3-pointer, wasn't it? This is what happens. I'm just watching so many things right now. If I were really trading, I wouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
And also, I find the MES is more fun. I say fun. It does move well in the pre-market.
Yes.
And
Moves
so,
well and
you can set a
predictably.
stop loss. And you
Yes.
can set a stop loss,
That too.
unlike a penny stock or an option. So I like stop losses, Jeremy.
Loves them. Those trailing stops, man.
Y'all use trailing stops. I like a hard stop.
Well,
I like a hard stop, and then I move it myself.
I'll use a trailing stop, but I won't set it until after I'm in profit. And essentially, I'll just have it chase the profit up, and when it reverses or pulls back, it's just automatic. That way, I can teach and trade at the same time.
That's a good advice. All right, big wick.
Yeah.
It's hang on. Still got time to close.
Touched 402.90.
Yeah, I got 402.84 where it wicked into as a VWAP, no, volume ledge.
Nice.
402.55, and then the one above that was 402.84. So not even quite 30 cents between the two.
I loaded up a
But
little bit of this
the wick would have been good.
KAL at about 11.15 cents. And I might grab a couple of the HLBZs here if it continues, because this looks like a nice little IHS here. And it's just on top of the 20 period or 200 period now. I want to see it break its neckline before we get long on it, but might give us a chance to go long at about 21.5 cents.
Red inverted hammer with a large wick through. We watched Elf last night.
Nice.
My buddy or my dad. I don't know.
Our friends, we went and spent, we joined families for Thanksgiving with some friends, and their kids were all watching Elf last night too. That's kind of ironic.
I bought the dang thing, so we were watching. I bought it last year. I'm like, oh, that's one I want to have every year.
That's a great movie.
Just when you're cooking and playing it in the background, is just, every now and then you come in and catch a scene and laugh.
Yep. Good times.
Will Ferrell plays such. I don't know if he was on drugs when he did that movie. I don't know if he does drugs or anything, but I was like, man, that's a cocaine look.
It's like coke and mushrooms.
The way he opens his eyes and he just stares. It's like, that's crazy. I love it. And then I came through the swirly gummy, the forest of the swirly gummies, and then I entered the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah. Yep.
I saw that movie years ago, and the first time I saw it, I told my kids, that's going to be a classic. They're going to play that every year.
Yeah, cult classic. Here we go. 21.5. Gave us our hammer. We're through the 200 period and the 8 period. Let's close this as a bar, and we're game on for HLBZ.
I know you just bought those, but hang on, Victoria. I see what it did.
ARDX is looking like it's about to pull down to the 1 minute 200, about $1.80. And KAL's having a hard time waking up, but it just crossed the 8 period on the floor here with a really tight Bollinger pinch. Let's see what happens with that thing. Like I said, if that thing gives us a penny, that's a 10% scalp for a day trade, dude. You can't complain about that.
The OSM, that might have been a stop loss. A stop hunt is what I mean.
Did it wick over?
It got a big red hammer. You got the thing again, those small candles at the top of the trend, dojis, and then a wick. But then you get that big red candle, and it's not a hammer. The big red candle with a wick. But it's in all of the averages.
Yeah.
Except for the 20. It's in everything except for the 20. So
I'm gonna do my chart challenge here. Let's see how many people are watching. 7 people watching. If anybody's watching our YouTube channel here, throw a ticker in the chat. Challenge us. See if we can look it up and see what we get. Is my screen blurry on there, or is that just the preview?
It looks fine to me, but then, I'm not wearing glasses, so.
Oh, we're good.
You gotta ask somebody else. I shouldn't say anything.
I got it. I pulled it up on my phone. It looks clean.
I went to this. I went to the 30 frames per second because it was the 60 was looking blurry for some folks.
Yeah, that's what I did. There goes the RDX.
But I think since I added source, it works better.
Morning.
Oh, there it is.
Got the blind trader. There's that KAL, dude.
Hey, blind trader.
Those sub dollars and sub dimes, man. I'm telling you, when they move, it's just a percentage game, man. Love those things. Those are great. Let me
We'll look
see here.
at the paper challenge right now. Let's go look at the Robinhood thing.
And
everybody's red.
HLBZ about ready to tap that 22-cent marker again.
Everybody's red. All those guys I was looking at, they're all red.
And SPY posted a nice evening start.
I didn't lose anything.
Good deal.
Good. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, ooh.
All right, we're going to throw the ticker challenge out there one more time. Throw a ticker in the chat on the YouTube channel here, and we'll challenge ourselves to look at it and see what we can come up with on it.
HLBZ broke that area.
Yes, 22 cents right to the T. Now what? We got some nice
2305 is VWAP above it.
widening Bollinger Bands. We're on top of the 8 period. 20 is about to cross the 200. If this stays strong, this is where it's going to be the critical point. There it goes. Bam, beyond 22 cents. Love it. Looking for a 50% retrace target now with this descending channel, right around 22.9. That's a percentage game, but it's a hell of a trade when it works.
Got to cross that red bar. It's coming up to it. It's wicked into it.
Yeah.
The control bar.
That
control bar, by the way, that control bar to the left, all my moving averages are right in the top of it.
Here's one,
Right where it's
CNXC.
Oh, it's not going to do it.
Thank you,
What's
Mr.
it gonna
Blind
do?
Trader. That's an
Hello,
interesting
Blind
one.
Trader.
Low volume.
Mm.
CNXZ.
Wiki.
XC.
So maybe we moved. We had our little move, and now we're going to go sideways again.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's an ugly wick on HLBZ.
it is.
That's a long inverted hammer, but you know what?
Watch the range, though. Sometimes you get a bar that closes after those.
Yep, because that's bull flagging.
All right, so this CNXC, as mentioned by the Blind Trader.
The way it looks there.
1 minute chart's got low volume. Let's see what the 5 minute looks like. That's a bit of an M top here.
11:11:32. Yeah, 11:11. Everything always happens at 11:11. Why?
Crossing a 15-minute 200. Aha, we're in 2 control zones.
MES back at 40.36.50. See if it comes back to 40.36. Oh, pumpkin pie with breakfast.
Oh man. My wife made a bourbon caramel sauce to go on the pies last night. Oh, so good.
Put it on the pies and the ham.
The ham was a bourbon and brown sugar. I guess it's kind of the same thing. Bourbon and caramel, bourbon and brown sugar, kind of the same thing.
Hey, we got almost 30 seconds on this 1 minute. On the SPY and the MES, look, that guy's trying to come back up.
Hey, KAL. Look at that run. Nice little rounding bottom. Looking for this wedge retrace now. And target's going to be about 11.8, 11.9 cents. And if you got in right down at the bottom at about 11, I got in at 11.15. Nice little roll.
59.
All right.
That is a penny stock's going to do what a penny stock's going to do.
So I'm looking at the CNXC for a swing trade. It looks all right, but it's kind of right out of critical zone. 120 and 40 cents. But if it does break out there, it's got range. Got 2 targets above, 123.20 and 125.50. I always look at my swing trades with almost the same analysis I use for day trading charts, because all the patterns are about the same. Come on, go to 120.
Right, guys, I got to leave today. Have a lovely trading day.
Hey, thank you, Victoria. We'll be out of here in less than 2 hours because it's going to end at 1 our time.
Yeah, have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, do.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See if this gets above that pivot. We got a gap fill. It's like 129 is about the peak reach on that thing. Great swing trade setup. And all it's got to do is break this critical zone right here. Throw that back on a 15 minute. It's coming up and knocking on it today, I think. Good spot. I like that one. All right, now MANU for a day trade. Let's have a look. Meanwhile, HLBZ, man, it's just kind of climbing out. I love
It
these.
is climbing out, isn't it?
Love these, man. I'm going to set the target zone there. Maybe about 22 3/4 would be a good target on that. All right, let's have a look at MANU. Well, that's a nice one.
Red candle right there.
Yikes, that thing's gapped way out of range. When you don't have enough history to go back and look at control zones. Keep looking.
Here comes the spy. All dressed in red.
I'm always looking for the key areas of interest, and I look at the tops and bottoms of control zones here. In fact, I could narrow these a little bit better if I just do this.
When you get that, like those where you are right there with your hand on that little conglomerate of candles to the left. Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's structure to me.
Exactly.
It's part of structure. That's a building block.
And oftentimes these things will return to those levels and trade from one to the other.
Yeah.
Methodically.
Exactly.
This one's got a lot of little pivots in it. And I'm just looking at all the range candles going up that previous bull trend here. And then control zones. So we've got a control zone here. Let's make that one white. That one white.
All right now. HLBZ.
This one red.
What are you going to do? Coming back to VWAP.
It's right at my target, 22.7.
Yeah. It's also where the last time it was up at VWAP, it it was above it. It came through it, and it gave us that. That was at 1018 and that 1019 candle. The 1018 and the 1019 candle, right where they meet. That's one of those areas that I've been talking about lately.
All right, so we had a nice run on this MANU. We got basically a 3 flagger. We got 1, 2, 3. It broke from 3 to 4. Rolled over with a triple top, testing the critical pivot. Now, if this stays above this pivot here, this $22.78 pivot zone, 22. Geez, I'm way off. It's actually like 21.95 right now. Why am I not seeing this really well? I gotta expand the range, I guess. 21.9. As long as it stays above 21.9, we're still good. And just like we have with our SPY rounding top over here, very similar structure. Expect to reach out to the pivot right in that range. So if you want to make a day trade on that, be about $1 move. It's got to hold this pivot though. That's a critical support zone. And then we can always fudge these a little bit to a control bar if we see one. And there is one right here.
It's gapped up on the MES.
I'll always drag those down to their key pivots. And then we look at 2 ranges. So we got one range here. 35.75. And one range here.
Yeah. There's a 1/4 point gap up on that candle, but it's coming back down now. They're testing VWAP on the MES.
Yeah.
1 minute.
No, we definitely trade these with caution, and that's why we draw all these stupid lines on our charts, man. We know exactly where the control zones are, and we literally just trade from one to the other. When the setup's right, run it. A setup doesn't give you a clean signal, you just walk away. Go look at something else.
Walk away. That's exactly right.
It takes you
Preach it.
Takes you but a moment to draw some chart lines on the chart and know where those levels are. And if it doesn't meet your plan, dude, don't take the trade.
No.
You know, it's always plan your trade and trade your plan.
Exactly. Ooh.
Good tickers to look at though. Those are nice setups.
Thank you, blind trader. Is that from him or her?
Yep.
Or them?
Him.
Wasn't sure. Sorry. Don't know. I can't see it.
He's an all right dude. I got to talk to him at one point. Eventually I'll give you a call out there on Facebook Messenger or something. Good friend of Andy's. Andy runs Mighty Soldiers Trading, and Really, really good people. Any friend of Andy's is a friend of mine.
You got a friend in me.
I'm going to drag this to the other
Yeah.
control zone here. We might be able to
HLBZ fighting that area.
see it here.
Lots of wicks now. 1, 2, 3, triple wick.
And I'll get to Tesla in a moment, actually. I haven't looked at that yet.
Let's go over here.
I always try to mute my mic when I'm clearing my throat. Well, we've made pretty much our target nailed on that thing. We still have, I mean, if you take some of these descending channel lines off, you can see it looks a lot like an IHS. But remember, the big money loves to sell retail traders in inverse head and shoulders like that and just wrap it into a bear flag. So look further left. Looks a hell of a lot like the old middle finger of doom, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness, it does look like the middle finger of doom.
So when you get those,
show them the middle finger.
You got your one knuckle here. There's your middle finger. There's your other knuckle and your other knuckle. Remember, there's 4 fingers there. The middle one's here. And this chart always does that. And if you look at the early days of Bitcoin, it gave a massive middle finger and then lost half its value overnight. that was some bad times. And people chased that with a lot of stinking money. And this is why you never chase. And that's why you always know where those control levels are. Because even if you resumed way in tight and you didn't notice the stuff in the pre-market that made up that first knuckle, know where it is. There's your target. Profit taken. End of trade. We'll come back to it later. It could go and trend towards the end of the day. It might. For now, that's a no-go. We made profit. We're out. We were actually able to scalp that twice. I did take some profit up here at the 23 cents from 22. Made a penny on that one. And then I went and bought a little bit more as it came back across the 8 period in this bar here. I went and bought a little bit of 21.15, 21.14, and shot out at about 22. Where'd my order fill? 22.50.
Make a quick call.
That's what my limit order was. Right on. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna look at Tesla. Yeah, I look at UUP just to kind of keep track of what the dollar's looking like chart wise. I can do DXY, but if I can't trade it, it's like eh. But I do tend to sell in the money call credit spreads on UUP about a month out. And for the most part, I can get a really nice amount of premium in the spread. So like if I'm running a dollar spread, sometimes I can sell them in the money at like 98 cents on a dollar spread, which is killer credit. I'm okay with going as little as 80 cents on a dollar wide if I'm pretty sure it's going to be out of the money towards the end of the life cycle of that option spread. And for the longest time, I would use UUP as a hedge because I know when the dollar eventually does come down, it means your equities are worth more dollars. The dollar's worth less, equities worth more. It makes sense. So when I would be trading a lot of bearish positions over and over and over again, swing trading SPY, and I was still working full time, I would use UUP as a hedge because I know that when SPY made a massive bull run out of nowhere, the dollar would tend to drop. So I just have a hedge on that. So if I'm swing trading bearish positions on SPY or QQQ, I would run a bearish position as a hedge and in a form of credit spreads on UUP in the money. And I've had max profit on a couple of those, but I would say maybe 1 in 30 spreads that I've set up on UUP as a hedge will do that. And probably about 2/3 of those I'd at least be able to close profitably and buy back for less than I sold the spread for. So It's a pretty neat way to trade. It sucks because the thing grinds and moves so damn slow, but when you get it right, it really works out. And that's got that old rounding top with the middle finger looking thing to it too. So, all right, let's have a look at Tesla. And it's been kind of, everybody's expecting Elon to ignore Tesla while he's playing with Twitter. That man is the master of redirection. And like when you thought he was going to give up on Twitter, he went and said hell with it and bought it anyway. I knew better. I went through some debit spreads on that, profited it, made really good. Tesla's been in this descending channel for a while, and I'm expecting one more push, maybe down to key support, right around 155.25, maybe as low as 150. Keep an eye on the short term on that thing. Treat this as its own descending channel. What's this purple saying here? Usually when I hover over those, they tell me something. There it is, channel indexes. Yeah. Okay. It's just indicating where the channel is. It might get pulled back one more time, but don't take your eyes off of that, and then always look a little further left on things like Tesla. Weekly chart gives you a lot of information on control zones, and there's a control bar right here, 1120 of 20, that we're ranging right to in this hammer that's closing this week. Let's throw that in there, about 165, just a hair under maybe. I hate how the price disappears on those pivots when I print them anymore. That's been an update on Webull that just annoys me. Yeah, SPY's finally breaking over. I do have that butterfly on TQQQ, and if it gets close enough to profit, I'll just profit it. But if it hits, if TQQQ hits $20 today, I'm gonna be dancing. I will literally dance on camera for everybody to see, like a total white boy. Hilarious.
40-31.
I know I can't dance, but I got a sense of rhythm. I can play the drums and the bass.
Dance away.
Hey, if I'm making that kind of money, I will dance. All right, so control zones being noted on the weekly chart for Tesla. Let me finish my analysis on this thing a little bit.
Yeah, I'll shut up.
Because I'm looking to swing trade that eventually, and I think we can start looking to get long. Maybe if it revisits just the weekly 200 period, we can be at a zone where it's considered safe to go for. That's about 161.50, and today it's kind of above that, so I'd like to see it pull back one more time before I try and swing trade it, but it's looking like it could give us a sign here in the next few days, maybe next week. Like I said, though, man, that redirection that Mr. Musk pulls off is freaking awesome. And it plays into Warren Buffett saying things like, buy when they're afraid and sell when they're greedy. Don't ignore that philosophy.
I will not ignore that philosophy.
All right, KAL might pull off a rounding bottom breakout here. Watch the neckline. It's got to break 11.5 cents before it really gets anywhere. It's right at 11.5 cents now. Keep a close eye on that. That will be very quick if it does give us a breakout. And like I said, I got a target right up here at about 12.75 cents. Wow, look at that bear bar on SPY. Right when we broke through that key control zone area from that rounding top. Failure.
Looks like a big M top on the 1 minute.
That it do.
I think we had one of those in the pre-market.
Straighten that out. I'm going to borrow it.
Double
right
top. There you go.
M top, critical support zone broken. Test it for resistance one more time, and if it continues to be bearish, we know where the range is. Easy peasy. All right. So yeah, I would love to see Tesla pull back one more time before I start swing trading it, and that'll probably be a good one to get into and look back on next week. If you're looking at like learning how to trade debit spreads, that's a good one to trade. Tesla can give you lots of opportunity when it comes to debit spreads. Even when it was trading at like what would it get to, like a couple $1,000, whatever it was.
Really? So good for debit spreads?
Good for debit spreads. Out of the money debit spreads with that magical 8-to-1 ratio on a 5-wide. Go about 45 days out to expiration. Man, those things just swing like perfectly.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And that's just the spread. That's just swinging a vertical spread.
Yep.
Or right.
Swing a vertical debit spread out, about 45 days plus to expiration, because it takes a little time for these moves to work out.
With a $5 wide?
$5 wide.
I'll go study those.
The last one I traded on that was bearish, actually. I traded from the rejection off the angular resistance up here down. Mm-hmm. And that made pretty good. And then I ended up getting back in long over here. That was the last one I traded there. Actually, it was the long one. And then I didn't get into this. I should have. I was looking elsewhere. I think I was getting into futures pretty heavy. And this measured move is setting up actually pretty nicely. It's already made its half leg. There's your full leg. There's your accumulation to the regression line. I usually make my regression lines white. Resistance line should have been this blue. There we go. Now I can see it better.
I'm laughing because I have colors for my lines too.
Oh yeah. We made our half leg, bounced out of support, even wicked down to that angular support once, just barely right there. If it completes that full leg and hits that angular support, we know what descending channels tend to do, but don't ignore the weekly chart because it tells you where those control areas are. And that's kind of going to be, yeah, if things get bad, Musk, puts out a bad tweet or something, it can see $120. Just know that that's a zone that is possible. But if you look at your swing trade opportunity, watch it when it hits this angular support because you can look for a bullish move there. All right, I'm going to get ready to roll out of YouTube here. Actually, I wonder. Let me see if I'm supposed to be on with MoneyNet today or not. I think Creed's on vacation, so probably not.
Bam.
I think what I will do is I'll take a little... I got to let some coffee out. It's just not to be graphic to all our friends.
Could you hear me on YouTube? Could you hear me on YouTube? We'll go back and look at it. I said 4031 on the MES.
Yeah, you should be going out on YouTube. I've got the desktop volume turned up.
Oh, good, because I called 4031 earlier.
Nice.
Long time ago. Just want to let it be known.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got, wow, just wicked right in the 429.
402.
50,
Bam.
which is a roll bar.
Yep. All right.
Also, where all those dojis were this morning, those wicks.
Give me a second to step aside. I'll be right back. I let some coffee out or it's going to come out anyway.
You better get out. Better go make it.
I'll be right back. I promise.
Get you some Depends, man.
Two.
Oh, now we had a descending channel and we wicked right into that 4029.50. What are we looking like? Nope. Maybe.
Oh, I didn't realize I had my mute button on. Talking to myself.
It's awesome. I talk to myself all the time. Did everything come out all right?
Oh, yeah, man. That was going to come out on itself if I didn't run. Too many coffees. So I'm kind of looking at this HBLZ, and it might just bear flag from here. It might give us a little support push and come back to that target one more time before the close today. I figure I'm just going to hang out on YouTube probably till about 11:45, 12 o'clock here. Might as well. Got nothing better to do.
It's a weird day anyway.
Yeah. Got the kids all out of the house. We got, well, they got all their Black Friday shopping done this morning. And then the rest of it they'll just do online. So right now they are... Hey, I got one actually raking leaves before it rains too much, which is good. And I'm going to try and sneak them out for a little treat later on today. See if we can take them ice skating.
Ice skating?
Ice skating.
You're going to do that too, aren't you?
Oh, you know it.
Ice skate, surf, snowboard.
Yep, you know it. Anything that goes fast and is fun, I will do.
10-second charts.
Yep.
Well, that's when I realized, no, I can't keep up with that. So I slowed down a little bit. I'm happy with being a quarter of the trader you are.
I think you can do a 10-second chart very well, dude.
Oh, it's going to happen sooner or later. I watch it every day. I keep it in front of me every day just so I can sit there and go, okay, well, there's structure. Yeah, it just came down to structure, actually.
Exactly. I wonder if we can...
Spare flag in here. It looks like it is.
Let me look through a few more large caps and see what we got, because this is kind of interesting. Everything's looking a little bit more bearish by the moment here. Even Apple.
Apple's bearish because of all they let 6,000 people go or something, and then they've got issues with supply in China.
That's 7% of the S&P, so that might give us an end of day run down to about 145.80 here. Just kind of looking left. Yowza. That can go even lower. And that is a big chunk of SPY, so pay attention to what Apple does next.
Oh my goodness.
Faux show.
We took NWTN off our radar, didn't we?
Yeah. Is that thing running?
$8.50.
What?
Up 73 cents today.
No kidding.
That son of a gun.
It retraced.
I took it off my radar totally. Look at that.
Most of that
Don't
gap
chase
down,
it.
man.
It's
Yeah, no.
now.
It's done now. That's all the history we got. I mean, we don't really have anything, beyond $10 other than flatness.
Man, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, I was happy trading that to the 50%. That was great. Even
yeah.
In the first gap, not a
I
problem.
got a little bit on that one. Oh, now I'm wishing I had held on to a few shares.
Yeah.
Oh well, Jomo.
Joy of missing out.
Joy of missing out.
And then let's see here. This leveraged piece of garbage here.
What'd you call it? The middle finger of doom?
Yeah, middle finger of doom.
Middle finger of doom.
Although this one, it's trying to set up that old inverse head and shoulders after a bear trend right here on a 1-minute chart for HLBZ. But like I said, a lot of times, if there's any serious money trading this day, and I doubt there is, but there could be, look at your order flows and watch to see. You know what? I'm going to look at the order flows.
Look at the order flows. You can go find them on Webull.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Webull wobbles, but it don't fall down. The Chinese company.
Yeah. HLBZ. Let's look at order flow. Oh man, they're selling the. No, they're not. Medium orders and small orders. So retail's backing out of this thing, and it looks like the bigger money's buying it. Inflow is 0.19 on the large orders, and outflow is 0.17. So large money is buying more than selling. Middle money is 1.27 in, 1.34 out, so they're getting out. And small is 1.41 in and 1.88 out. So let's see here. Cost distribution, volume profile puts you at about $1.43 peak cost. Damn, I feel sorry for those bag holders. And 47 cents is the next one. Let's see here. It's like barely any short interest in it, as expected. It's kind of a low float at rock bottom prices. You'd be a fool to try to short that. The free float's only 39 million shares, so it doesn't take much to move this thing. It's already got almost double the book. No, not quite. 64 million shares traded so far today. More than the float, but not twice the float. Average volume's only 5.6 million shares, so it's definitely got volume to move. Keep an eye on that one. It could set up a longer term swing. And we've got all those levels above to reach if it does get loose. And then now let me look at this KAL a little more clearly here. For some reason they don't give me access to order flow on the desktop version, but I have it on my phone. Oh, that's because I'm using my wife's account on the desktop, and I pay for level 2 on my account, so that makes sense.
That makes sense.
All right, KAL, let's look at the order flow on that. Inflow, large money, 30.57, outflow 95.56. So yeah, big money selling the hell out of this. Let's see here. 159 is medium inflow, medium outflow 198, and looks like retail or small orders 358 in and 365 out. Everybody's selling this thing, but that's more or less on a news note. Let's see here.
Let's see what we got here.
No real news as why this thing is moving. It's just moving volume today for people selling. This was mostly a dead cat balance play.
MES back to VWAP.
Yeah, curling back up.
We'll see. Yep, there it goes. SPY back to 402.55.
Bang-o.
Time 11:46. We got an hour and 15 minutes. Hour and 14 minutes.
Looking at a couple other movers here. Pull this up. PRCH. Definitely a little slow today, but we got some stuff to scalp. There's always something to move.
Always something to look at. Yeah. All right now.
That's been flat for a while, hasn't it? When you see flatness in a chart like this that came down a nice long bear slope and then flattened out right here, look at the short interest. I'm going to have a look at that one.
PRCH.
PRCH. It does have some short interest. Settlement date was October 31st on this thing. It had 12.03 million shares short. With 6 days to cover. That's already done with. Doesn't give me up to the minute short interest on it. But I know where I can find that. Hang on a sec. Menu. Short interest extremes. There we go. Drag that onto my data block here. If I can get it to load. Oh man, I might not get it. I think PRCH probably has some short interest. That's why it's getting volatile. But I think it's got more than meets the eye here. Yeah, it's probably got range to about 235. Pulled out of a nice little rising double bottom. Broke R1. Measure move stops right at about 235. That could be a day trade setup to the end of the day.
My HL's BZ just popped a little bit.
Nice.
Not sure how long that'll live.
It's still got a chance of hitting that 50% retracement mark again.
Yeah, we're popping a little everywhere right now. So I noticed I got green candles on SPY and the MES. HLBZ as well.
And watch this PRCH. It's got a shot at 2 pivot zones. About 215 and 235. It's just starting to get a little bit of volume buying in right here. Man, the 1 minute chart's garbage, but let me throw the
5 minute
anti-garbage HA candles in the mix here. There we go.
There he goes. He's got the HA candles. Now we look like Christmas.
Yes. When you got low volume like that, and it's just kind of barely chugging along, and you want to see if there's any trade setup worth looking at, throw those HA candles up, man. Great for low volume scum. And we've got 2 more pivot zones that appear as well. Well, 1 more respectively. About 209. One up here at 215. And our resistance zone to break for an actual confirmation is going to be about 206.
Oh, Mullen's down to 19 cents.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I might just wait for them to reverse split before I wheel trade them. That's sad.
I think they're going to reverse split.
They probably will have to eventually. The company's got potential to go, but it's got a lot.
They have problems.
It's got a lot of stuff to get through first. Yes.
They need to not. They need people. They need to regain trust.
Yes. They lied.
They frickin' used the same stupid. How stupid was that? Oh, we'll just use the same press release again that we used 2 years ago or whatever it was.
I love that.
And it's like, hey, and they got busted, and that's when the price went down.
Hey, you know your ATGX could, I'm sorry, ATXG backwards. ATXG could turn into a swing trade, but that's going to be so slow. Never mind. Scrolling through some movers to see what we can find for anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the slower market, you got to really wait, and it gives you a chance to plot out your targets and everything.
True that.
But it do move differently, and it's you know, finding those moves and those like ascending and descending wedges and channels, because they still happen. Boom, right there.
MANU is actually starting to move here.
Yeah, I saw that came up in one of my momentum scanners.
Let's see, we got targets $22 and $22.20. I think PRCH has got one shot at crossing the 200 here, and if it does, we can get a quick little scalp out of that. And KAL chugging along. Kind of moving. And HLBZ, it's either going to be done for the day or to give us a surprise push to a 100% retracement from the open. Boy, that'd be cool.
COSM. Looks bare flagish right now, so it's coming back to angular resistance. Hammered into the 15. Nope, there it is. ARDX still kind of just chugging along.
Oh, you know what popped up on my radar? Possible swing trade. Let me see. I want to watch it pull back first. I would like to see it touch around $8 first, but let me throw it on a grid here.
Well, you're doing that. I'll ask you a quick question. When you're doing your debit spreads and you're looking at things to do like a debit spread scalp or something, you scalp debit spreads, don't you?
Depending on
if you
what I
see
see.
a move.
If it's
Right.
like high volatility in a day trade setup, and if it's feasible, like if it's something where I don't want to risk a lot because I'm not 100% sure on what size move I'm looking at, but it is a large cap, and I want to take advantage of the move itself and not necessarily, waste leverage. I'll scalp them on a day trade. Like if I'm looking at SPY or Q or Apple or Disney or something like that, where I can get in a lot more control and a lot more leverage with a lot less risk, that's when I'll do that. Otherwise, I'm trading them like just any other swing trade. Like I'll go from like anywhere from an overnight hold to a week and a half, 2 weeks at the very most. Ideally 1 to 3 days, but depending on what it is. Like when I had that spread on UNG, I held on to the first time I traded that for I want to say it was 6 days, and then the second time I traded it was 3 days. So those two are swing trades. Disney, I was doing 3 things at once with Disney. When I had that opportunity to short it, I was running in some debit spreads in one account. Put debit spreads that I held for, I want to say the longest one I held was for 5 days, and then the other one I held for 3 days. And then I was day trading puts on that when it was really volatile. And some of those puts returned over 400% day trading them.
And you're doing those under $10 spreads, right?
Right, I'd be looking at $5 spreads on Disney.
But you're buying
Well,
40, 10. You're
so
buying up
with
numerous.
Disney, I was spending no more than 50 cents on a $5 wide. But when I saw how bearish it was, I actually went and got in. I want to say the one I announced, I got in at like 34 cents and then sold it for, I want to say it was like $1.10. It's insane.
Oh.
And the other one that I put out on Twitter that I also announced, I think it was the second time. I think it was the second time I traded spreads on that. That was one I held for 3 days. And I put that announcement out on Twitter, and that one returned 100%. But I got in at like 44 or 46 cents and then sold it for like 88 or 92 cents or somewhere in that neighborhood. That was pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
There's PRCH just on top of the 200.
Yeah, I was just curious. Like I said, I've been studying the spreads more. I kind of pulled back, and then I realized, in this market especially, singles are not the way to go.
Yeah, this market's going to be brutal for single options contracts trading unless you're seeing something move violently. Like if you look at like Apple, that'd be appropriate for single option trading for today. But if I was to swing trade that, or if I wasn't expecting a big enough movement to make it work day trading, certainly go for spreads and swing trade them. You can hold them overnight. You can hold them more than overnight.
Well, the decay is a lot less.
Yeah, that's the beauty of trading a spread like that is you're long one option and short the other option. So time decay is going to erode them closer to the same rate. They won't be exact, but close. So time isn't going to hurt you so much. And you can either trade a week out or 30-day out, depending on what you're going to find for the best price position as far as how far out of the money you are, and also the amount of time that you're expecting this move to take. So if it's something like SPY, I'll go a week out and trade dollar wides and pay no more than 10 cents on those. I like to get in between 6 and 8 cents if I can, if I'm expecting a big move to happen at the most overnight. Versus like something like Google or something like that, where I'm expecting like maybe a $10 move that's going to take about a week. That's when I'll go for like 30 days to expiration, because I can go far enough out of the money with a nice $5 wide spread. And that I'll run typically between like, it's kind of the sweet spot price on that particular one. Between 38 and 42 cents for a $5 wide out of the money on Microsoft works pretty well. It's got its own sweet spot, similar to trading single options on SPY, about 38 to 42 cents on the $5.
And that's just, I'm just asking again, that's just the vertical debit spreads. That's not doing any condors or butterflies.
Nope, nothing special, just a debit spread. And if it's appropriate to do, if I've got enough time on it and I expect that I can go and take a position and convert it to a different type of position. Let's say I got a call debit spread and something runs away, but I know it's going to pull back and then run again, and I want to stay in the position. I'll take profit on half of the call debit spread position, and then I'll open a put debit spread position equal to the remaining half and run it as a condor, run that down, profit the put side on the pullback, and then run the call side back up again. It's kind of neat, but it's basically to lock it in.
Yeah, I love hearing this. This is really good stuff. Yeah, that's great.
And when you get into spreads to begin with, I mean, it just opens so many different doors of ways you can adjust that trade while you're in it. Or you could just
really
up and
manage
take
your
profit
risk a lot better.
Yes.
You can really manage your risk a lot better, because what you're talking about, I mean, if you just go out and just do one single debit spread, not one contract,
right,
one spread, and it's $5. I looked the other day. I was, I'm working with this thing. I'm trying to learn it more now, getting a little more in depth in it. And I was watching it, and I had one the other day. Like I said, I was gonna get in it on Wednesday, and I didn't. So I just went ahead and watched it. And at one point, it was up. I think it was $5, and it was at $35
Not bad.
at one point in the day. And no, I didn't trade it. I was like wishing I had. ARDX just took off.
Did it?
Yep, just hit $1.94. Yeah, and I was looking at that, and I was like, "Oh, I see what you mean, Sensei."
It
You
just
know,
makes a
I
lot.
started. You could take a small account, real small, if
Yeah.
you can get that options level 3, and especially with like a Robinhood. And I know not everybody can do that. I know one of our guys has had trouble with that.
Yeah.
But you can, if you get good at it, just paper trading it, practicing at it, go with a bigger broker. Why not?
Yep.
Because if you're good at it, the commission's not going to hurt you.
Exactly.
And
when you when you look at, I have a lot of friends who try to either swing trade or day trade options on SPY, and like even with a high win ratio, you're still looking at like meager profits overall because you're going to lose some when you try to swing trade a SPY option, just directional, straight, options contracts. Like they'll see it spike one day and expect it to pull back the next day. Oh, I'm going to hold, SPY puts overnight. And sometimes they'll do well, sometimes they won't. But convert that to spreads, and then you've got something. Because if you look at the time decay on SPY options, it's horrendous. I mean, the theta is just insane on those options. But if you're running a spread, you can still be involved in the move, but that time decay is not going to hurt you as much. And if you have an opportunity to go and trade a spread that expires in between like 3 and 5 days out on SPY, and you expect a $10 move or something setting up, you can run those dollar-wide spreads out of the money so stinking cheap, like $4 or $5 sometimes, and just make a killing on them. And
you're going to get a $10 move on SPY.
Yeah.
Usually, those are common.
Exactly. So like that one time when I had, I set up a condor on SPY. I think it was Jackson Hole.
Oh boy.
And
wish I knew more back then.
I set up a condor on that. I set up a call debit spread and a put debit spread the day before, and I was able to leg into them. I bought them each for about 4 cents, and then I was able to lock them as if I was trading a strangle. I was able to lock them against each other with about a $2 cushion or 2-cent cushion between them, and then it ran up before the mic was taken. I profited the call side. I think I took like 6 cents on that. So 4-cent risk, took a 2-cent profit on that side. And mind you, I'm trading these by the hundreds. And then I knew that it was going to just rocket down, and it sure did. And I was simultaneously trading that volatility with my futures account and killing that. And then I ran the put debit spread side, paid 4 cents and sold them at 12 cents. So that's pretty nice. That's a 200% return. So,
yeah, and if you're running hundreds of those contracts,
yes,
then dinner's on you.
Yep, pretty much. It is a nice way to do it.
That's good. This was a good time to ask that. By the way, we have less than an hour of the market left.
Yeah, no, it's 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm studying right now, and folks, I'm going to get back to putting in some price action lessons, because price action is the key.
Yes.
If you've got to be able to understand how price moves and where price can go if you're going to trade, options. Yeah.
Once you have price action down, dude, the world is yours. And then you start building these complex option strategies. It's like, eventually you find a way to adjust options positions to turn a winning position into a can't lose position. And you'll get there. And
that's key.
You can even do it with strangles, and it's just amazing how many doors open when you get into HLBZ just printed a nice bar right back to that 2190 pivot. Cool.
Oh, I took my eyes off it to go look at something.
I'm over here scalping pennies until all the stuff works out on my futures account, because that's what I'll be doing probably next week. But essentially, you get into being able to develop a different option strategy for every different thing that you regularly trade options on. And like I said, you run those dollar wides on SPY, and then suddenly you look at that where I was teaching people how to day trade the sweet spot 38 to 42 cent options. It's kind of out the window now. Those won't be very profitable again for a long time unless SPY becomes volatile enough to make them worthwhile. However, do that same thing but with spreads. And then the way you would do it is you would have yourself bracketed 3 to 5 days out, just like you would with the sweet spot trades. But your long option would be in the sweet spot, and your short option would just be the next leg down. So like if you find an option trading in that sweet spot, and then you go and you sell short the option out of the money, one strike out, you'll notice that it turns that sweet spot into one of those 6 to 8 cent risk dollar wide spreads. And then even if it stays flat all day, the amount of time decay on a short option will offset the time decay on the long option, and it'll still have a much higher chance of at least breaking even. So if SPY gives you garbage like sideways movement all day and you got in on that position, it's not going to eat your lunch. You're going to be able to at least break even or take a very minimal loss on that thing and live to trade another day. But if it does make a big move, bam, you kill it. So you still get that leverage of that delta shift. And that dollar shift will really, really pay the bills.
And then on Robinhood, when you open that debit spread that day, that counts as a trade?
So if you open it as a debit spread, and as long as you close the entire thing in one order, it only counts as one day trade. So if you're under PDT, you can do that, and it just counts as one. It doesn't count as two.
Just opening it, or opening it and closing it?
Right.
Opening and closing it.
So if you open it for a long position and then you close it, whether you take profit on it or not, it only counts as one day trade, even though it's controlling two different options.
What if you swing it?
If you swing it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count as a day trade.
Doesn't count as a day trade, right?
Nope.
That's what I'm getting.
If you swing it overnight, it's just an overnight hold.
So if you want to do a debit spread at the end of the day, is it best to do it at the end of the day, or is it best to do it in the middle of the day when the implied volatility is lower?
I prefer middle of the day.
Okay.
Especially if I get a grindy sideways day like this, and I'm expecting a volatile move, and I kind of am expecting a volatile Monday to possibly come down and retest this $400 pivot one more time. I would consider doing a spread to maybe have a Wednesday expiration and hold over the weekend if I was going to do it. And I might even look into that chain right now and see what we got.
Probably paper trade that 11.11. So yeah, that's good, Jeremy. This is good stuff. Slow days, sometimes it's really good to talk and get some of these understandings out.
Yes.
Because I was looking at that over the weekend. I was like, wow. I mean, you could really, using your price action and understanding enough about the spreads, you could really take a small account, a $50 account, and just grow it.
Yep. Once I started getting into spreads, dude, and my account wasn't really all that big when I started getting into spreads. If you remember when I moved out here, I restarted my accounts when I moved out here and started them off with like $500 each. Started trading spreads, and dude, I mean, within like 90 days, I was tripling those accounts. I mean, it was that smooth, and just taking minimal risks, little swings on spreads. I was doing a little wheel trading, and just keeping it pretty basic. Is really doable once you have price action trading down. That is.
Yeah. That's it, because you have to have a way to measure and if you will, just for lack of a better word, predict where price is going to go, or be able to sit there and know a direction. Uh, yeah, everything I'm reading, nothing talks about direction.
No.
Everything you read, everything they say is if it goes in your direction, but they don't tell you how to figure out a direction.
Right.
And it's like, so yeah, the price action is great. Because you can go and look at a daily, you can go look at a weekly, you can go look at a lot of things, and then say, okay, we have a range. Now I have a range. Now I don't know about the strangles. I guess you buy a strangle as a strangle when you do it in the spreads, right?
Right.
You don't go get two different. You don't get like one put debit spread and one call debit spread. You get the whole thing together. Is that how it works?
You can do it either way. So, as a for instance with Ford, where we're doing that 50-cent wide strangle, you can do it three ways. So you can go and leg into your strangle one at a time, so you can build a cash cushion between them, and then you can just trade that. That's one way. So where the next day you would, if it's continuing sideways in a range, you would leg out for profit on each leg one at a time, and then roll it back in later in a day and keep doing that, rinse and repeat. That's all one strategy. The second strategy is you can do it as a condor, and you can either open it up all at once, or you can leg into each spread individually and do the same thing essentially with debit spreads that you would with a strangle. That's method 2. Method 3, actually there's 4 now. Method 3 is where you start off with a condor. You buy a debit spread one leg at a time on something like Ford, and then the next day, instead of closing each debit spread for profit, buy back the short options on that spread and turn it into a strangle with a lowered cost basis, because any profit you make buying back the short legs on that will offset the cost you have on the long position. And then later in the day during power hour, if it's trading in a range with some volatility, you can then go back and sell those short legs again and hold it overnight, rinse and repeat the next day. And
that's complex, but that's where we're heading.
If you open a condor the day before and then you go the next day, you profit on buying back the short legs and then sell them again, that does not count as a day trade. So you can swing trade those over and over and over again, just like that. And then the fourth option is you can start with a long strangle, just buying a call and a put, and then the next day, instead of taking profit on the opening range on the long side options, you can go and sell short options one strike out against each of those long options and turn it into a condor, and then hold that till the next day, walk back out of it in the middle of the day, buying back those short contracts when they're a little cheaper, and then selling them again in power hour. You still had just a swing trade. It doesn't count as a day trade, and you still have a long position, and you still have a piece of the action if it breaks out one way or another. So it's cool. There's 4 ways to trade, starting with a strangle, a condor, or a mix, where you start with a strangle, turn it into a condor, and back out of a condor over and over and over again. And then that's not even mentioning a calendar spread. That's yet another way you could do this.
Yeah, I know. This is crazy. Well, that's just it. It is complex, but like you said, if you don't have price action down, that stuff's going to spank you bad.
It can.
And even if you have price action down, if you're not aware that it needs to move fast,
right?
Like in a single, single's you're gonna get eaten up by the theta in a single.
Oh yeah. Every time.
You're sitting there and you're wondering why the hell isn't it moving?
Right.
Because you might have come out too far out of the money, and it really needs to move fast when you do that. But I've been studying these spreads, and I'm like, ooh.
And then there's a calendar spread, which can eat your lunch. And there's a different set of rules with a calendar spread too. A calendar spread, you need to pay close attention to your break even. if you started as a strangle, and let's say on Ford you buy a long strangle that expires 2 weeks out, and you want to sell the front week, you want to sell the 1 week to expiration short legs, you have to make sure that the break even on those short legs is greater than your break even on the long legs. Meaning, if you were to exercise a long leg to cover the short leg, the cost of the long leg execution has to be less than the cost or the amount that you're going to owe to the guy who exercises you on the short leg. So you have to pay close attention to that. That can spank you.
Right.
And
I think one of the things they said was that the assignment scares new traders.
it does, and it doesn't have to.
And it doesn't have to. Is what it says.
It's not the ideal condition, but it's not the end of the world. You can still adjust it. And then with wheel trading, like, you want to avoid assignment if you can, but if you get assigned on a cash covered put, it's not the end of the world. More often than not, your cost basis per share on your assigned put is going to be lower than the share price the next trading day. So you can just profit those shares in the market and then sell another cash covered put. You don't really have to worry. It's a little more dampening if you get assigned on a covered call in a wheel trade. So if you get assigned on a covered call, that capped your gains, and suddenly if the price takes off, you're going to miss out on the bigger part of the move. Plus, you have to start your position over, because when you get called out on a covered call, there goes your shares, and your put will likely expire worthless in that scenario. But still, you're out of the position at that point. So what do? Do you buy another 100 shares at a slightly higher price and then sell another covered call against them? Not necessarily. The way to adjust that is sell an in-the-money cash covered put. So your cost basis is still going to be lower than the share price. You'll almost certainly take assignment on that cash covered put, especially if you sell it in the money on 0 day. And you're back in a position for about what you paid to get into position initially, and you keep the cycle running. So there's so many doors that open when you start learning how to trade spreads to start, and then later when you start running the wheel trade where you're selling options to open. There's a million ways to adjust it. There's all kinds of different ways to stay ahead of it and stay in profit on it, and just turn it into a not lose situation or a can't lose situation. And
right.
It's just incredible the amount of versatility you have with your trading once you get into some complex options. And when I say the word complex, it sounds intimidating to most new traders, but if you just keep it simple and realize that options don't have to be that complicated. Realistically, you're just adding legs and taking legs off. It can be simple, but you've got to have a basic working knowledge of it before you can make it simple. There's a drawback there. So
yeah, and it is, and it's complex, and complex doesn't mean that it's difficult. It just really, it's simple. It's simple complexity, if you will, because you think it's got to be rocket science, and some people are rocket scientists the way they approach this.
Right.
And they look at a bazillion things. But here again, for me, and what I've learned from you more than anything is price action's king. Price action is king, because I can go look at that chart, and when I talk about these wicks, you can see them on a daily, you can see them on a 2 hour. I start seeing wicks on tops of candles, like 2, 3 in a row, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna stay away from that level, so let's get bearish. If it's a bullish candle,
right?
And then the same thing with the bearishness. If I start seeing a lot of wicks on the bottom of candles, and it starts to make that little turn or just even a slight edge, I'm thinking, okay, then we're gonna go bullish. And I know that's just simple the way I said it, but those wicks mean a lot. But when you start looking at them on a daily and a weekly, you go, oh, look at the range we have here.
Exactly.
And that is where the price action comes in, because now you've got something that you can trade within, a range you can trade within to do those complex options, or even to do just simple, I say simple because they are simple compared to the rest of them, simple debit spreads, you can start taking profit pretty good. And those percentage things, they add up. So if you make 100%, and that's $5, and you took 10 contracts, that's 50, baby.
Mhm.
And I was sitting there going, oh yeah, I see what he means.
It all stacks up.
Yeah, you start to go, oh yeah, okay.
The lights.
Penny stocks was the introduction. Yes, the lights start coming on.
Yes.
And when you're able to do that with those spreads, you can make a hell of a lot more return than you can just trading a single freaking stock.
Absolutely, man.
And you spend a hell of a lot less money.
It's
now your risk, your reward is mitigated too, but it's got a governor on it, if you will, like in automotive terms.
right.
But who cares?
Exactly, because I mean, even
cares?
if you're capping your gains on something like that, a lot of people think there's so much potential there.
Well, you don't have to take max profit.
No, and
If it moves $2, hey, take it.
think of it in terms of just you're fighting FOMO. Yeah, you're capping your gains, but you're never going to go broke taking profit. So
You're not going to be a pig. You're going to be a bear or a bull in that case.
exactly.
And you're going to be a little bit. It's a smarter way to trade, actually.
And then when the wheel trade comes to life, you're basically more interested in generating income on the position than anything. So like you don't have to be a bull or a bear. You can just be I'm going to generate income.
Right, but you got to get through all this other stuff first to get there.
Right.
It's not like maybe somebody can just jump in and do it. I'm gonna be 58 in a couple of weeks or a week or so now.
It'll take a minute.
My mind's a little bit different. You think a little bit different when you get older. It takes a little time, but boron helps.
Oh
The
man,
white
Are
wolf
you
says
using
hi to
are
everybody.
you using single legs when you're doing the wheel strategy then?
when you're doing a wheel strategy, primarily you're going to use single legs. However, there is a rescue plan. You can also turn it into spreads. So, like, let's say you were really worried about being assigned on a call, but it was so volatile that you couldn't quite catch the move or capture it enough to where you could either buy that option to close it, or if you think it's going to go so far away in the money that you're going to be missing a big move, you can just turn that into a debit spread. So you literally buy the strike above it, usually for less than you sold the short leg, and it converts that into a debit spread. So where you're still in the move, and as long as you can make the decision on whether you want to exercise your long option to cover the short option, or use your shares to cover the short option, you can actually make that decision on assignment if it's early assignment. And it gives you a little more opportunity to completely capture a massive volatile move to the bull side. So you can turn it into a spread. And at the same time, you can hedge against your put side with the same strategy. So like if you were sure you're going to be assigned on a put and price is volatile where you think your short put's going to be way in the money, you can turn that into a debit spread the same way if you were worried about it. I usually don't do it on the put side. I'll do it on the call side occasionally, but the put side I don't. However, I've been known to double up on the put side if I knew it was going to be assigned, because I can go and sell an in the money put along with my put that I sold out of the money before, and capture a better cost basis if it's going to go really far out. And then I can also roll that into doubling my wheel trade position for the long shares and sell covered calls against it, so at a lower cost basis. So you can adjust the wheel trade if you need to, if it's going to be really volatile, but you usually don't have to. So you can keep it simple, or you can make it complex anytime you want. All right, HBLZ had a nice bar. Didn't quite reach that target, but it pulled back immediately to the 20 period.
Yep.
With a
Still
wick.
above the 8.
It's still above the 8 with this candle here. So I'm going to zoom
Let's
way in
see.
on this sucker.
That big ass wick on the inverted hammer there, right into a pivot.
Yeah. That might
I
give
gotta
us
grab another cup of coffee. I'll be back.
that might give us one more play as the day gets closer. We got about 33 minutes to the bell, 32 minutes to the bell. Might get right up to that target and be able to close out for the day and be green. Let's see, some dude named Gabriel, are you still listening out there on our YouTube channel? Said, "What'd I miss?" Then we got into a long-winded options discussion. Probably not the idea of day trade live stream, but here we are. We talk a lot about options in this group, and we work out a lot of details of education. And when it comes to being a diverse trader, anything you can add to your arsenal of tools to trade with, whether it's scalping pennies or scalping futures or selling out open options, trading spreads, whatever it may be, you have a different tool for every market condition. And the idea is if you are not a one-trick pony in this sense, where if you enter a bear market like we've been in, it takes you out of the market. If you don't have the right tools, it kind of sucks. So it's better to have a toolbox full of tools for every different job that you're going to have in the market if you want to stay in it. And if the bear market threw you out of one set of tools, just put those tools down and grab the other tool that applies to the job better. Whether it's okay, I can't scalp things on swing trades for bullish trades anymore because the market's not bullish anymore. What can I do? I can trade debit spreads. I can trade put debit spreads. I can trade call debit spreads on the what we call relief rallies. I can sell options on the relief rallies. I can sell credit spreads on a relief rally. Once you get a different set of options tools involved for every type of trade that you want to make in the market, whether it's bullish, bearish, or neutral, they're there, but you got to develop them, and that's what we do here. We help diversify people's ability to trade in any market condition. And lately we've been going through a gambit of different option strategies, but everything falls back to price action trading. And when you have that good understanding of price action trading, you can develop all these different option strategies on the side, you're going to be a diverse trader, and you're going to be able to make profit in any market condition. And that's the idea. That's what we want to produce. We want to produce people who can just go and take on the market in any way, shape, or form they want, and have a diverse toolbox of different strategies they can use to trade that. And I know a lot of people kind of get set in their ways, whether they're day trading options or swing trading options or just scalping stuff, and they just stick to what they know because it continues to work. There's nothing wrong with that, but it couldn't hurt to have a diverse set of tools to adapt to any market conditions, because there'll be times where your one or two tools won't be usable in the market. And if you're generating income from the market and that's your source of income, or even if you're doing what I did for a long time and I supplemented my income with the market and still worked part-time, you got to have a way to adapt with the market. You got to turn with the leaves, or you're going to be looking for that full-time job again. So, that's what we do here. We help teach people every aspect that we know of how to trade market, whether it's simple strategies, complex strategies, what have you. It's all there. All right, HBLZ gave us one last swing to the 50% retracement.
Red bar.
It can continue on, but I went ahead and profited most of that position already. I'll hang on to a little bit of it. You never know what these things can do. As flat as that thing is, and that increase in volume today can certainly set it up for a short squeeze on Monday. Would it be neat to have a position and see that thing shoot up over $1? Hell yes, it would.
I'm wondering something here. After hours, we have aftermarket today. After hours,
we should have an hour of after hours trading today, I think.
An hour at least, yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember, man. Been so long
Maybe,
since I traded
maybe.
Black Friday. It's a whole year.
Well, this is only my second Black Friday.
Last one was great for me, man. I was
I don't even
killing it. But
remember the
this
last one.
one's
It seems to me I was out of town.
this one's a stinking grind, man.
No, I was here.
I mean, come on, we got
Well, the whole week's been a grind. We've had one trend day in
Yeah.
2 weeks. But you know what I noticed? There's another kind of trend day, and we had that Wednesday.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's where it looks like it's not a true trend day. Whoo, there it goes.
Big old range day.
It comes up. Yeah, it's just what it is. It's a range day. It comes up and it goes down. Because we're looking almost Wu-Tang on the 5-minute on SPY.
Yeah, kinda. Could set up a bullish measured move up to the Globex high.
And it takes a while, you know. I mean, it everybody's different, but it takes a little while for you to get your emotions under control with this stuff.
Yeah. Now you-
And I mean, I was euphoric when I first discovered the market. I mean, I knew something. I said, this is not good, but I see it, but I don't like the way I feel.
you gotta be a cool head, man. And that's the problem a lot of people face is they're easily excitable in the market, and that can lead to some really bad habits.
No, looks like we might be bearish for a while. Let's see. Well,
But if you just relax and enjoy
Yeah.
what the market gives you, man, it's just so much easier to trade when you're just chilling.
yeah. I'm just amazed at Ricardo that he scalped
I
his
know, man.
tail off to do that this morning. I'm like,
Hey, dude,
what? 300? That's great.
he made $600 trading the MES in one day. That's really freaking good. So that's like pulling up right into my shoes, man. 'Cause I was able to do that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, it didn't take me long to turn that $500 account into something sizable, man. I was blown away by how fast that happened, and
You
I
dropped
had
it
to
down.
I had
You
to
dropped it first.
I had to step back and realize what I was doing for risk. It's like, whoa, wait a minute here. Yeah, I did. I dropped it down. I took it from 5 to like 750 in like 2 or 3 days, and then I ended up going back down to like
270.
270. That's right.
It was 270, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And then you took that,
And just
and in 6 weeks, I'm not going to say it.
oh man, go ahead. That was crazy.
6 weeks. In 6 weeks, he took that $270 and turned it into 18,000.
Yep.
And you know what?
I was
That's
just
not even up to some people who do 1,000 a day, who do 20 in a month.
yeah. And that was just I was just starting to trade futures at that point, and
That's exactly right.
I didn't quite grasp the full risk concept on that particular thing, because the way those contracts move, if there's a power outage, if there's a brokerage data blackout or something happened, and it did eventually happen, and you're in a position and your account size can't absorb that entire contract, being blacked out for an hour or two, they can wipe your account out in one trade and one little snafu. So I mean, I was taking some size in that,
Yeah.
and
That's why I do a hard stop.
yeah, hard stop would be the way to go.
Yet.
Hard stops can't fail. Trailing stops can. I learned that.
Well, the thing is with a hard stop, if you're sitting here, if you're at your desk and you're watching it, and that's
Yeah.
what we do, right?
Yeah.
And then I just move my stop. Oh, I'm in profit now. I got 5 points in profit. Ho-hoo! If it hits my stop, I'm not worried about it.
I think I needed one more monitor to make that, because when I had that issue with the nano futures, I had it up on my upper monitor, but I also used that monitor to log into YouTube and get all that stuff going. So I flipped between screens because I was monitoring the comments, and then I had my futures account off the screen for all of, I think, like 12 minutes or something like that. and then they had that massive blip on the price for Bitcoin Nano futures that did not get reflected on the Bitcoin spot price at all, and it just took me out. It failed my trailing stop and took me out of the position for complete total fucking loss. I'm just gone, you know.
Some
Very
people
frustrating.
couldn't handle that. Some people
No.
couldn't handle that, Jeremy, and I'm really glad that I mean, you were frustrated. Have every reason to be frustrated, but
Yeah.
you didn't wallow there.
No, I moved right on, dude. It irked me for a little while, and I stepped back, I cooled off, relaxed, it came right back to it, just calm as could be. Leave it for what it is. It was a risk. It was a calculated risk. I shouldn't have looked away. Things happen. No big deal.
Things happen, and it sucked, but it happened. Yeah, that's why you've got to be on your toes and nimble, as you said. Got to be nimble.
That's it. You gotta be quick.
We have just about 22 minutes, 23, 21 minutes, and about 15 seconds, 45 seconds.
And never take your eyes off of a futures trade ever. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. Blind Trader's a cool dude.
Awesome. HLBZ is breaking out of a zone that I had marked out from a couple of red candles previously back at about 10:30ish.
Dude, this HLBZ's taking off. We're going to 24. 23.9's the next pivot.
Yeah.
KAL is kind of chilling, but that thing's been flat for long enough where it's one of those stocks that it can have a little squeeze. It does have just enough short interest to maybe squeeze a little bit. I don't know if it'll ever see a dollar bill again, but who knows?
MES has wicked into that hammer from a couple minutes ago. Wicked into an area that I had marked out previously, which was about, it was the in-between of those 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it was like 9:55 and 10 o'clock candles, 2 green candles on the 5-minute on the MES. And that's that in-between I talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually the 9:55 and the 9:50 candle. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah. And so that zone, I marked that zone out, and it just, on the 1 minute, it hammered right into it, right
Yep.
above it. It's also right there by a pivot. Like I said, those zones are important.
That's where
When
I
you
had
see
that.
2 candles come together like that, that's important.
That's where I drew the extension on that key support from the M-top. I just dragged it out to later in the day.
That's it.
That makes all the sense in the world because it came right to the top of that wick.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
we're testing
and
the resistance and we're tipping over.
That 9:55 wick, that wick and this last 5-minute candle are in that, almost the same length, but not quite. But they're in there. They wick to the same spot. Price action, baby.
And I think this
Hey, are we going to
HLBZ
25? Are we going to 25?
could be hitting 25. It just nailed 24 with strength, dude.
Saw that. I saw that. That's why when you said it, I was looking right at it, like, whoa.
That's one of those ones where they can flip a book on that thing in a hurry. And look at the 2-hour chart like you're looking at just a big old double bottom. And we broke R1. We're in target 1, and target 2 is 25 cents. Simple. And extensions go all the way up that range, dude. This thing can go 30 cents, not a problem. Can it be another COMS? Eventually. It'll shake out a few of these pops first. We can certainly scalp it all while it moves. It'd be a great trainer. Great, it's not a sub-dime stock, but it's definitely a sub-dollar stock. It's a sub-25 cent stock,
Moment. Yeah, it could breach that high today. Let's see if it tries to do that. Well, maybe not, but that's where it looks like it's trying to head.
It's doing what it can.
Let's see where we are over here. We're testing that level again. So on my SPY, 402.10, 402.55, and 402.84 are all, and back down to 401.63. Let's go there too. Those are all ledges from volume profiles. And price just went right from the 401.63, went through all of them, and it's been playing in between all day long. You could have pivot traded those things.
Noise. I'm going to see if I can open a new position on TQ here.
I do enjoy price action a lot.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely nice to have people to chill with when we're trading here. I know it's a bit slow today for everybody all around being on holiday, but you know.
Yeah, still.
Might as well enjoy. All right.
I mean, you look at your range today, and really, it's like $1
I know it's rough.
on SPY. I just realized it's like $1.20. That was your range, maybe a little more.
If that.
So you're not going to do much with that. I mean, God help you if you were trading single options on this.
Yeah, this would destroy you.
This is terrible for that.
No single options anymore. Not on SPY anyway.
Not for the time being. I stopped trading them, a couple of weeks ago. As soon as I realized they went to all those 0 days,
Yeah.
and I said, I got to wait. We got to recalculate the rhythm.
Yep. Iridium Communications, IRDM, stock price today, quote, PE of 840 plus. IRDM, let me look at that thing.
Trace, let's look at that.
We've traded that before.
So fun.
I swear we've traded that before. Yeah, nice breakout.
Was it 840%? Is that how much it went up?
PE ratio 840 plus.
PE, what's PE? Got a brain fart.
Profit per equity, I think it is. It's a slow grinder, but it can move. It's going to take time. It's more of a long-term investment type of thing. I wonder if it's optionable.
Coming back down to the open, it looks like we're going to close a freaking cross today. Not that a cross is freaking. It just came to my mind.
402 pivots right there.
Yep.
Angular support
Right.
down here at 401.85. It'd be nuts to see it close where it opened.
Uh-huh. Well, we're hammering on the 402.10 right now, that volume profile.
HLPZ, this is three hammers, or three flags, sorry. Got 1, 2, 3. Know that when these fail, they usually run right to the support zone of flag 2. So just like we would trade it in the morning, same in the power hour.
Flag 2, would that be the 50% retracement there, where it failed, if it fails?
Yeah, essentially back to that center pivot. The
Yeah, which is about VWAP.
about 22.75, I think it was. Hang on. I don't know why it doesn't show my price on my pivots anymore. Remember how it used to have the block on the right side here?
Yeah.
It doesn't have that anymore.
Maybe you got to turn it on.
Should have been on.
Or maybe now you have to turn it on.
Maybe.
Everything's changed.
Yeah, they keep
Market
changing
makers
my
do
mind.
that to throw you off, so you stop watching price action. They
That's
know
it.
what they're doing.
That's it. Exactly.
They say, okay, now it's time to change the software.
Total conspiracy. True. All right. Here goes KAL making its move. Finally. And SPY, I'd love to see SPY close at like 401.50. That'd be awesome. Be even crazier if it closed at 400. Doubt it'll move that far that fast, but it can.
Yeah.
We've seen it
Well,
do it.
It's, for the most part, it stayed above, at the top of the 15-minute range and above it all day. Actually, more above it than anything, which in normal circumstances would have given you a lot of bullishness. But you see all those dang wicks on the
Yeah.
5-minute. So the median is about, of the channel is, where is it? 401.89, which is about, the open is 401.84, I think. That's certainly very bearish looking.
Just for the moment. Get about 11.5 minutes for option or market close.
All right, it came out of that zone. The MES came out of the in-between and is now hitting on a control bar of 40.29.50. Time is it? We got 10 minutes, a little bit more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, go Gadget Bears.
Mm-hmm. Truthfully, I thought we were going to be a little more bearish than we were. But,
Same here.
you know, I lost bias. I had to lose bias. I finally have lost bias. I'm just a bullish bear.
There you go.
If it looks like it's going to be bullish, then I'm going to be bullish. If it looks like it's going to be bearish, I'm going to be bearish.
Good play.
So, but the dollar gave us a signal this morning in the pre-market that it was going to be bullish for a little while. And I think initially the first 5 minutes it might have been.
It was looking like it.
Actually, it was for a little while. Till about. Oh, well, it opened. I see.
It's getting volatile all of a sudden in the last 10 minutes here. That's a big old bar.
Yes, it is.
Can be a face ripper.
This is a big bar. It's not oversold at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think TQQQ is going to go anywhere near $3 here. Or $20 here.
There's a name for this pattern that can happen here in the 1 minute. That does look like it could go bullish. Let's see, though, how it does, because that could also just be a fast pullback in a bear channel.
Yeah, that's the third leg of the bear channel right there. 50% retracement takes it to 402.25. And if it hits that and rejects, we get a tweezer. And then we fail that angular support and run for 401.50 on the close.
Yeah, your 402.25, by the way, that is the top of the 15-minute channel.
Oh yeah. There goes KAL, dude.
Look at that. Yeah, 402.25 is the wick of the 935 candle, green candle. It's the top of the wick. That was the high between the first three candles, which gave you your top of your opening range, where we stayed above most of the day. I do like my 15-minute opening range. I enjoy it. It helps it a lot.
Yes.
You know, in a penny stock, what's a good opening range? 3 minute.
Yep. That 3-minute chart's always on a staple on my penny charts.
Well, that's what James used to trade on, and when I first got on, he was trading on a 3 minute. I didn't know what different charts were. And then That was before fractals. That was before Devin started calling them fractals. And James used the old Russian doll analogy, and I got it. I was like, oh, I get that. Doll inside of a doll inside of a doll inside of a doll.
Pretty much.
But he used the 3 minute, and I could, I still with the 3 minute and the 2, but just the 1 and the 5 makes so much more sense.
Yeah, the 1 and 5 just seem to coincide with each other really well.
Well, and with the rhythm of the market.
Right.
That 3, still good for a penny stock on an open range. Shut a door.
All right. Man, that KAL did some fun stuff.
Crap.
Let's see if that runs. Got a nice tap on the 8 period here. Oh, right. Leftover ham.
I think that's one of the things we want to ask you sometime, just when we're doing that stuff that we're talking about, is besides you showing us what you see as 50% retracement and different things, control bars, is if traders can learn the signs of a trap
Right.
early on in their trading experience, and then at some point in their trading development. But I think the earlier the better, because people are people. People are going to trade real money.
Yeah, knowing where a trap is gonna be clutch, man. Because when you see them and you're already in a position, sometimes it's too late, and then either you can't get out of it fast enough, or you can't talk yourself into getting it out of it fast enough. And that's what I love about that market button, man. Because I just nail that sucker and be done with it instantly, and not have to worry about FOMO. But that is the key: is FOMO will destroy you if you let it.
Right.
And recognizing a trap before you allow yourself to be talked out of exiting a trade, it's going to be ideal. What the heck? Why did you cancel my order, you bum? Oh yeah, it's a half day.
You were paper trading that, weren't you?
No, I was trying to close one options butterfly and roll to another butterfly, but it canceled my order because it's too close to the close of the market.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if I can roll it a different way here.
If anybody is listening to this, that I showed you that descending channel sign, you'll see the fake one at 1235 on SPY, where that hammer, excuse me, it's on the MES, not SPY, where that hammers right into that 4032.25 area. The high is actually 4032.25. The close is 4032. And if you look at the lower indicators, it is not lined up where it would need to be for that to be the signal to go long, and nor does it have the bend from the moving averages. So that would have been a fake out if you were looking for that signal and you didn't have all those other signals lined up. That's not it right there. And it shows you it's not it. It is really like learning chord progression, and learning, like let's just take the G chord for example. It's like learning 4 ways to play that one chord. It's the same thing, but there are 4 ways to play it. And so patterns are the same way. And I picked that up from listening to the Al Brooks seminar that we have, webinar we have in our next level audio.
Oh yeah.
And he talks about that. That's why he has 400 patterns he's remembered, but really it's 100 patterns, 4 different ways.
Right.
He explains that,
Hey,
and it hit me. But yes, sir.
we're getting a 5-minute end pattern on KAL here.
Oh,
That was quick. It pulled back. 12.5, I think, is the target. Bam, that was already nailed. Like watching paint dry, but man, that quick percentage swing is awesome.
we got just about a minute and a half by the time I finish saying this sentence. Now, the market closes. I wonder how many people remember that.
I'm just going to remember this ham.
Ooh, that's good. I haven't eaten anything yet.
Come to think of it,
I call them.
that's the first thing I've eaten today, too. I've been trying to fast my breakfast, and now I don't even have to think about it. I just fast anyway. That's some good ham. Oh, hey, how are you doing? We're doing very well over here. We are learning how to be the most diverse traders on the planet.
Here we go. Last 20 seconds or so.
Did you see the double bottom?
Now. On spot. Yep.
Mhm.
And
R1
hitting
cross.
R1 right now.
Nailing
There it
target
is.
1, target 2. Bam. Classic double bottom.
Let's see what
For those of you who don't know, bearish trend, 1 low, 1 high, 2 low. The first high is your resistance, so we call that R1. Once we break R1, this is the trade. Long on R1 break, and then target 1 is the first control level you see in the previous trend, which is right here. Nailed that, 402.22. Second control level is the next candle up, 402.29. And if it wants to continue out of that, your extensions are all the way up here at the top of the trend. It can go and retrace this entire bar. Likely it'll usually do a 50% retracement of the big control bar in this scenario where you got a trend that was very steep very quickly. I'm going to borrow this. 50% retracement of that bar, perfect extension target right there, top of the green bar. That is how a double bottom is traded on a day trading level. And if it is a dominantly bearish trend, like it has been more or less bearish since that high this morning, you can also take this as an opportunity to go short. So when you get rejected at one of these price targets, resuming or retracing the previous trend control bars, when you see a rejection like that, you can trade it short for a quick scalp too. This is very, very important to know when you're trading futures, because in this scenario, you can go long on that breakout, and instead of having the close order and take profit button lit up, you can have the reverse button lit up and trade the other side of it too. So makes it really quick and easy to make a double-edged scalp on an evening star like this when you see that double bottom set up and it goes exactly to price targets or known target zones and then reverses.
I wonder why we haven't had a bell.
Yeah, I noticed that. No bell.
Clearly, the markets were closed at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you couldn't get your spread filled.
Nope. Yeah, no bell.
So, so both at the end of the day, both of those spreads would have lost money
Yeah.
that I looked at. Both of them. The QQQ, $276, $277 wide, and the same QQQ 290 and 290. No, excuse me, 299 and 300. Both of them would have lost money today.
Hmm.
But at one point, one was up. I like this. This is a great way to learn the spreads.
I'll have to watch my account. I got one butterfly that closed into money.
I need to roll one over or roll one somehow or another. I got that Amazon for 12.16.
If I get a sign, I gotta exercise the other two.
I don't want no assignment. I saw that. I read that. I was like, yeah, I get that.
It's not big enough to show like a $2 million negative position in my account. No more scaring the wife.
That was funny. I was just thinking about that. That's
This
probably
won't make the
it
day.
always comes to your mind when a new trader or a trader talks about assignment. I bet you that's the first thing that you think about.
Yeah, I mean that's
Huge, man.
it's not something everyone wants to talk about. But there was a dude who I mean he offed himself because he saw a negative. And it wasn't even that big. It was like a negative. I want to say it was like 300,000 or something like that. That just when you're trading spreads, sometimes you'll get an early assignment on the short leg, and it'll show if you only have a couple $100 in your account, it'll show a negative number, especially if you're trading like a large cap or something. Let's say you had a spread open on like Amazon when it was trading at $3,000. All right, can you imagine being short 100 shares of Amazon at $3,000 a share? And that's $3 million, baby. It shows up briefly in your account as a negative number because you're short those shares, so it's going to show negative. Anyway, there was a dude who I don't know what he was trading, but he had a spread on and didn't understand how it worked. And his account showed like negative $300,000 or something like that. And he wrote out a suicide note and everything, and just he didn't want to burden his family with that because he thought he owed that money. Dude, you got to understand that sometimes you'll get an early assignment or even an assignment at expiration that'll reflect that. But your whole purpose for buying that spread or selling that spread was to cap your potential loss. Period. You can't lose more than the width of the spread. Period. All he had to do was go and exercise the long side, and it would have made it for a minimal loss, or maximum loss on the spread, but a minimal loss versus his account. And it's literally a few clicks of the button to fix that. And not knowing that, the dude ended up offing himself. And
Oh man, that's just so sad.
horribly sad. But if you don't know how to trade spreads, or if you don't know that aspect of trading spreads, knowing that it can show a massive negative number in your account briefly, you've got to be able to deal with that when you see it, and just know that you're not going to hold that money. It's not going to destroy your life as long as you make sure that if your broker hasn't automatically exercised your long position, do it manually. That wipes that right off your account. You have no worries. Okay, just to let that be a good way to close the day on a sad note, but to make at least a positive thing out of it by letting people know that sometimes it'll look like that, and you don't need to take it to extremes. It's a way to learn from someone else's mistake, and they paid the ultimate price for that mistake. I don't want to see anybody else do that, so I like to.
But
make
at least, even though they did that, but the positive thing out of that is now their life has a greater meaning
Right.
and can be a great lesson to a lot of people to save a life now. So there's always a silver lining.
Exactly. And hopefully it saves many lives because,
Yeah.
that's kind of a shocking thing to have. But if you're like me and you go tease the wife with that number, be ready for the rolling pin. Oh, man. That's dark. But yeah. Yeah, it was fun for me to watch my wife turn white. But, I made sure I
So bad.
I didn't let her stew in that for longer than like 30 seconds. So.
So bad.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to sign off. It's been a great week. We've had a good time. In spite of me being sick as a dog for the first 3 days this week, I was just not having it. But I'm feeling a lot better now, and I think next week's going to be amazing. We got through Thanksgiving and holiday period. Markets tend to be a little dicey to trade. The week after, though, is usually pretty smooth. So we'll see if we can get some good swing trades going next week or something. And again, I'm going to come back with some more info on the wheel trade strategy, some more in-depth knowledge on complex option strategies, stuff like that, and even some simple ones. So stay tuned. Hit the like and subscribe button. Tell your friends. Hit the bell so you're notified when we're live and we're doing stuff because we do this every day. And today we went a little long because, well, it was a slow day. We were able to just sit here and hang out. Let's call it a work day.
Yeah.
And, just if you like what we do, know that at least for now, our rates for membership are really low. And, like one of our members was saying, for the price of taking a family of 4 to Chick-fil-A for dinner, you get a month-long subscription with us, and we got a lot more details that we go into on the inside. So check us out. We'll see you guys around. Have a great weekend.
Anybody you